go to the other final topic today, which was this idea of spinning plates. And spinning plates talks, it's actually a concept. I don't know who originally came up with. Is it Rollo Tomasi, the guy behind the Rational Male? Personally, I came to this idea after reading the book called Unplugged by Richard Cooper. But I think he has borrowed a lot from the Rational Male, so I don't know if it originally came from the Rational Male. And the idea of spinning plates is the idea that men should have multiple partners, women. And it comes off the idea that, we've been sold this concept of a soulmate, my one, the one and only.
So spinning, because I think one of our members, I don't think it's correct to mention people here, but one of our members really is into the plate spinning concept.
Yeah, I'll probably call him the professor, the game professor.
Yeah, so to me, it simply looks like flesh. You are very deep into flesh and being dick driven, because you are talking of increasing the amount of feminine energy around you. Okay. But is it not already happening when you have a man with multiple baby mamas? That's not a certified plate spinner. At least it started with the plate spinning. That's why it took off from there. Because if you have multiple women, something can happen and one of them will end up with a baby. A contraceptive breaking, because the contraceptives are not 100% perfect. Because if you want to succeed in something, spread your bets. So this plate spinning is bet spreading.
Actually, my idea of it, I think it's important. One, it helps elevate a man to the point that they know they have options. And then again, I know probably the way Kibe was putting it, he was, of course, totally against it. But what I would say is, okay, number one, a man should focus on himself. So build value, be a high value man. So there's a point he has to be totally, maybe if you have to call it celibate, maybe that's until he's at a point where his status value has increased, where he has the money, he has the looks, he's a high value man, then I think before he thinks of settling with one, he should spin plates. Because also what it does is it helps create, I think to some degree, the abundance mindset that women are there. And women by default, yeah?
When you're saying a spinning place, you're actually having intercourse with the multiple women, right?
Yes, you are having intercourse with them. But and I'm not saying you're picking every, would I call them, not Tom, Dick, and Harry, but every Jen,
Sally. If we are to talk, let us just be realistic to the nature of a man. Once you start banging, you really want to bang and really want to bang. So my main, because I've also lived that life in sort of. I remember in Mombasa, I think I used to be one hell of a spinner. Was not exactly a saint, but I think the allure of the female flesh is extremely dangerous, because you can talk on paper, I'm spinning from here to here. What is the guarantee that you are going to spin out?
Yeah, I mean, I guess
I say the most meaningful conversations are the ones that are difficult. Yes, I have. We call it. If I'm to look at my previous, the early videos of when Kevin Samuels picked during the first days of him picking, used to call it a rotation of women. You have your rotation of. I used to have a rotation also back in the days when I was in Mombasa. You have a rotation, but for starters, one, you have to be realistic. Are you not exposing yourself to diseases?
So you have to protect yourself, of course.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you have to also bet those kind of women, very likely. Yes, this risks are real. The risk of them getting pregnant.
What
The
really shook me up is someone who, not really a friend, but an acquaintance, during one of his rotations,
yeah,
he had a condom break. Now he had to be on those post exposure prophylaxis, PEPs. They call it PEPs, a 30-day dose, and that some of those medications are crazy. They make you look sick. They say, you see, I cannot feel what someone is feeling, but the guy looked horrific. So at the end of the day, is a contention with the flesh. When you say you're having multiples, abundance mentality and whatnot, I think all that is flesh. And we have come to a point where, to some extent, you actually feel you feel that you are going to die if you don't get pussy. I think you are a man. There are moments you feel like, I have got to hit it, man. I really need to hit it, like today. That's why you go through, let's say, a typical Friday, you go through somebody's, what you call a call log, Angela, Mary, Sheila,
yes,
because these are options. See?
yes.
But at the end of the day, you have to face the harsh reality that is the flesh.
No,
Because
I agree, and definitely that is a need that one needs to overcome, such that it does not control him.
it's like a drug addiction.
Not the same. I feel there is the value of one ensuring, because how do you develop that abundance mindset? How do you develop? How do you grow out of a oneitis kind of a syndrome where you think? Because even if I think of myself, I used to be the sort of one track kind of a dude. If I take this girl, I'll be committed to her for a period of time. But I think to some degree that kind of a game works against you. But when you operate with the thing that if mercy doesn't work out, and it's not like actually you're looking for a relationship, particularly with those that you're spinning plates with. It is more for develop. It is flesh, you could say that in a sense. But I feel in a sense as a man, it grows you, and definitely you have to carry out that spin plating or spinning of plates with certain disciplines. Like one that is recommended, of course, you have to control birth. You can't just let the aspect of the lady who will take like after morning pill by herself and you trust her on that. It's important that you have those pills on hand for them to take, of course, use of a condom, but you know also the condom is not 100% for sure. So there's sort of kind of safeguards that you can apply. I know our game professor, what he was recommending was this relationship do not always have to end up being sexual relationship. It's just sort of playing the game, but not getting up to the point of a close. And I think there's also value in that, just building the muscle of
for
being
one,
able to talk to girls and
for one,
and the like.
what I would say is that for one, I'm not saying that as much as I say minimize your exposure to feminine energy, I would not say being anti-women.
Yes,
yes. Because in a day-to-day operation, you will interact with women.
Yes.
Right? It's a normal interaction with women. In fact, me, I'm one hell of a flat. If I find a reception on them, I'll throw some words and ABCD. But now, what makes you've noticed in the spaces that I really lean away from the plate spinning, because it's something that I did during a time when I would say I was not very much enlightened.
Okay.
Maybe if I'm to understand how some individuals are thinking, they have included that plate spinning in part of their enlightenment.
Yes,
Me, it
100%.
was part of my, that was part of my dark period.
Yes.
I was like, I used to do this shit some years ago. Why are these guys doing it now? So after I sort of got more and more enlightened and understanding that this is not the thing for me, Total says that, hey, listen, as a man, consider yourself a vessel and you are the captain of that vessel.
Yeah.
The plate spinning thing, as per the vessel called Brian Ngudi Juma, me being the captain, those are waters that I used to sail when my my level of enlightenment was not. I cannot say I'm the guru of enlightenment, but when I was in the plate spinning committee, my level of enlightenment was not as it is right now. So for me, it has undertones of being less lightened because it happened. In fact, there's a friend of mine, a former colleague, we used to be neighbors back in Mombasa, some very shanty town. And we used to say, we like, when we are in a hustle mode, you live in those houses whereby activities are hard over the door. You actually wake up in the morning and you compare notes. Leo, I'm beating your record today. So that is where I've come from. So when someone describes plate spinning, it's like what example can I use? It's like saying, let's say it's a sport that you're doing, but in some culture, that sport used to be a very dangerous thing that we used against them. Like when, let's say, you are doing bullfighting in the Mexican, that Spanish thing, but in some cultures, you find that the bull is a very sacred thing. They will not do such a thing. So it's not a very good correlation, but it's part of a past, which, knowing myself, if I'm to go there again, I'll not even be plate spinning, I'll be a karai spinning. I'll really spin because I know how I operate. If I go there, it won't be plates. It will be sufuria, pots, pans, the entire shabenga bang. So I tend to say, okay, if you have the control, as I said, you're the captain of your ship, you know how your machinery works, as long as you're safe, as long as it doesn't cause that derailment, who am I to tell you? I'm not the expert. But for me, it is part of something that I would not want to think of. Like right now, the weekend. The only thing is in my head is Lewis Hamilton is beginning at the back of the grid. How is he going to perform?
I like
and
that.
man, I'm so glad that is the only, because now I'm getting stressed. He has an engine penalty. He's starting at the back of the grid. How I want to see how he performs. A plate spinner will be like, is it Angela or Winnie? Am I wrong? Did I hit a point?
Yeah. No, I agree.
Plate spinner on Friday would be like, today is a half day. So by 11 o'clock, the plot should be ready.
Yes.
So that is something I used to do, and I really I worked very hard against it. It was a very long process to calm down on that. But as I said, MV Brian Juma and MV Andrew Mutua, those are different ships, different captains. I don't know what you have that guides you there, but I'd say those are waters that I sailed by very long time ago. Nowadays, we admire women, but we look at ourselves, huko tulikuwa.
Yeah, I like that aspect you phrased. So it does require some high level of self-awareness. And also you have to some of the risks involved, which
and you have to consider, and please put in mind that in the plate spinning procedure, in the event that there is what we call spinning failure, the outcomes can be very catastrophic, because either you make someone pregnant or you get an STD.
Something to think about. So
because when you see that is what you look at. What are the risks involved in plate spinning? Not a slight detour. This is what you are facing when you go into that line. And I assure you, for someone who has suffered from COVID-19, you have such a serious health issue at this point in time when you need to be at your prime, you really don't want to be sick.
I agree.
Especially something that you could prevent. You do not want to go there. You don't want to spend like 2 weeks under medication, because
yeah.
me, I blew away. I remember I blew away. At that time, I was still pursuing my project. I blew away 240,000 shillings of project money to cure my corona.
Oh wow, 240,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the other thing about our health. It's become quite a costly affair. So, yeah. So I think that was good. I think we've really touched on that topic of spinning plates.
Yeah.
Quite exhausting.